and welcome to the first SBC chat. This is where we're going to contact different people from our church and just have a conversation about how they're doing, where they're seeing God and things like that. I hope you enjoy it. The video is a little bit glitchy and pauses at moments, but I think what Kathryn says is really important and really encouraging us to us all. So I hope you enjoy this. Be blessed.
So lovely to have you with us, Kathryn. It would be really good to know a bit about you. So if you could introduce yourself, who you're in lockdown with, and what you do for a living, or what you do generally. That'd be great.
Okay, yeah. So I'm Kathryn, and I'm married to Rob. We've been married 31 years this year, and he's my husband, obviously. And so it's just the two of us in lockdown. In normal life and during lockdown, I work for the Church of England. I work for the Diocesan Board for Schools and also on their youth and children's team. So I look after secondary RE, I look after school chaplains, and I work with churches who are going into schools.
That's cool. And I think you used to be a RE teacher at Tennyson's.
I did. So for 15 years I was head of RE at Archbishop Tennyson's School, which is where I also used to go to school as a pupil, but I did have 20 years off.
Okay. So like us, you've been in lockdown for quite a while now. And I think there's lots of things that happen, but is there something that's happened in lockdown that you thought, well, this wouldn't normally happen, this is a bit odd, or some kind of strange things that have sort of occurred?
Yeah, I had to cut my own hair, so that was quite an interesting experience. I did hang on to the huge amount of hair that I cut off. It was a huge furball, but I decided that was way too disgusting, that I really should put it in the bin. But I was just impressed at the amount of hair I cut off. But my hair, I think, looks all right at the front, and I'm quite glad for Zoom meetings that I don't have to turn round. I've been doing a lot of gardening as well. I don't know if you remember some time ago before the lockdown when Joe and Rob Lines had their quiz night and auction. I won 2 hours of Rob Lines' time to do some gardening for me. And one of the jobs that I had was for him to dig a big hole in my garden because I wanted to plant a tree. So Rob quite likes to sit in the garden under a tree in the shade and things. So I ordered the tree online, which has arrived. And I thought, oh no, I won't be able to dig a big hole because I haven't got Rob Lines to dig a big hole for me. And the tree has arrived, and it's about that big. It's about 15 centimetres tall, and I could have dug the hole with a spoon. So I've managed to do that for myself.
Okay, I'm not sure Rob's going to get as much shade as you probably planned.
It's a plum tree. I reckon we might have a plum in about 10 years' time, and I reckon Rob will to finally sit under the tree in about 30 years' time. So. You could put a little Lego man underneath to give him some shade under the tree.
Yeah. Bless. So what has been your experience of the lockdown so far? What sort of stood out to you?
Living on lockdown's been okay. My husband Rob has multiple sclerosis, so he's very physically disabled, and so we don't really go anywhere very much anyway. So in that sense, it's kind of like we've been prepared for lockdown, and I think we've probably experienced it or been not so hampered by not going anywhere than people who usually whiz about. So that's been okay. And Rob still has carers come 4 times a day to our house, so that it always feels like there's a good flow of people through our house. And that was the thing that I was really worried about, was that care would stop or the district nurse wouldn't come and things like that, but they've all been coming. And so it's just been nice to be at home together, and I'm still working through the lockdown, so that's kept me busy. So lockdown personally has been okay. I realise that it's obviously difficult for other people, but it's for Rob and I, it's been okay.
Oh, okay. So when lockdown is over and you are free to go wherever you like, what are you going to go and do? What are you most excited about?
I'm really looking forward to seeing our two daughters, Lauren and Stephanie, because although I've Zoomed with them and we've spoken on the phone, it's not the same as being together. And so I'm really looking forward to seeing both of them again, and maybe going out and having a cup of tea with them somewhere or something. That'd be really nice.
That's cool. That's cool. Okay. How have you seen God at work in all of this, both personally and I suppose in your role as well?
Yeah, I just feel I've loved, Rob and I have just loved being able to join with others in doing church online, and being able to do Spring Harvest. Rob and I used to work at Spring Harvest many years ago with the 8 to 10-year-olds, and of course we haven't been going on holiday or going to things for some years now, and so it's been really nice to feel that we can go to these things, go to Spring Harvest. So that's been really good, and just seeing the church in action as well, supporting people, that's been really good to see. And in my job, it's been really interesting too. So I talk a lot with the school chaplains and youth workers, and seeing how they're responding to young people and seeing God at work in the young people that we work with has been really exciting too. And even the Guardian newspaper picked up on this. That I think it was Tier funded some research, and 1 in 3 young adults has during lockdown either listened to or watched a church service or a church broadcast, either online or on TV. And I think statistically as well, it was sort of like for 1 in 5 of all the people who had tuned into a religious service, that they never go to church and in normal times. And so that's just really encouraging that God is stirring up people to seek him. This lockdown has given people the opportunity to just be quiet and still and think about the things that are important, instead of just being able to block out deep questions and deep longings for God with all the sort of like busyness and stuff that you can block all of that out with that happens in normal life.
Cool. Okay. Next question is there a Bible passage or maybe a book from the Bible that has sort of been helpful to you during this time, that sort of God's directed you to?
Although I wouldn't say that it's necessarily one that is just specific to this time, but I'd say one throughout my life that I've come back to every time that there's a moment of difficulty, and you kind of like think, well, what's going to happen at this time? And uncertainty, I think. And like with Rob being ill, I know that he's more at risk of if he did get the virus and things like that. And so, and yet at the same time, both Rob and I, we were saying, well, we're going to trust God through this situation. And the passages from the book of Daniel, where Meshach, Shadrach and Abednego are about to be thrown into the fiery furnace for not worshipping the statue that King Nebuchadnezzar has built. And I always find their response really encouraging, and one that's a good one to say, actually, I'm going to live by the same standard that Meshach, Shadrach and Abednego did. And so in Daniel, they say to Nebuchadnezzar, if we are thrown into the blazing furnace, the God we serve will be able to save us from it, and he will rescue us from your hand. And then they continue by saying, but even if he doesn't, we want you to know. And they're saying, God, we know God, and we know that he's able to rescue us. But even if he doesn't, we still know and trust in God's goodness, and that he's who he says he is. And it's kind of like that in this situation. We know that God is perfectly able to save us from either catching the coronavirus, or if we were to get ill, that we would come through it. But even if we don't, and even if we catch it, and even if it doesn't have a good outcome, actually we still know that God is good, and that he's with us and he cares for us.
That's really cool. I do like it. Although when I come to the names, I always go Shadrach, Meshach, and then start panicking because I can't remember the last name.
The joke is my shack, your shack, and a bungalow.
Oh, I want to take that. That will definitely help me. Okay. And we're sort of on the last question. So is there anything you or people that you know would appreciate prayer for the rest of the church that are watching this?
Yeah, it would be really good to pray for Rob's carers, that they stay well and that they continue to come and help me care for Rob. That would be really good. And also for our youngest daughter, Stephanie, she is self-employed, and she's seen her work dry up. She's a portrait artist. It would just be really good to pray that she knows God's provision for her in all of this. So that would be a good thing to pray for.
Thank you, Kathryn, for spending the time to chat with us. If we could encourage you, the church, to pray for her, to pray for Rob's carers, and also to pray for her daughter, Stephanie, that would be great. We're hoping to do a few more interviews like this, just to encourage and support one another. If you'd like to be involved, please send me a message, either through my email or direct message. That would be great. And yeah, stay safe, guys, and God bless you all.